There's the security camera footage. It shows a man dressed like Deadpool walking through a college parking lot during the day. For about 2 weeks, this man had been following a 22-year-old student, Lauren McCluskey, and then on October 22nd, 2018, Lauren was gone. Nowhere to be found. Just 9 days before she disappeared on October 13th, Lauren had gone to the campus police department. She told them she'd been getting these threatening text messages from numbers she didn't know. Over the next week, she would call the police 14 times, but it seems no one really believed her. The man in the footage was first seen in that parking lot on October 9th, 10 days before Lauren met up with her boyfriend, Sean Fields. That meeting was also captured on university security cameras. A friend of hers later said that Lauren was planning to break up with him that very day. The thing is, his real name wasn't Sean Fields. What happened after Lauren went missing could have remained a complete mystery if she hadn't left clues behind. Someone was going to figure out the truth of what happened to her. And they were going to catch the man in the Deadpool outfit. He was a predator, a manipulator. God, he was just so skilled at getting exactly what he wanted. The kind of person you just couldn't believe a word they said. Back in 2013, Lauren was living with her parents, Matthew and Jill, in a small town in Washington called Pullman. She had a really good childhood, did well in school, and had a ton of close friends. As a kid, Lauren was just a natural at sports. She absolutely loved them. She was also the kind of friend you could always rely on. It seriously didn't matter what time it was or what day. If you needed someone to talk to, Lauren would be there for you. Her parents were impressed from a very young age by how quick and agile she was. Lauren was just athletic from the start. They said she could climb trees when she was only 2 years old and just had no fear. She was pure determination. With her parents' encouragement, Lauren poured herself into sports and soon discovered she had a real talent for track and field. When she was only 10 years old, she came in second place at the USA Junior Olympics. By the time she finished high school, her performance had caught the eye of the University of Utah, and they offered her a scholarship. So now it's September 2015. Lauren and her parents arrive at the school in Salt Lake City, a campus with over 20,000 students. Look, they weren't thrilled about sending their only daughter to a college hundreds of miles away from their small town, but Lauren was so self-assured and grew so much she made new friends pretty fast. Alex, who would become her new best friend, was one of them. Alex would later say that they were roommates their freshman year and became friends almost instantly. For the next 3 years, Lauren just kept excelling at everything. She was incredibly dedicated to her studies, to her track meets, and to spending time with her circle of close friends. Her friends remembered how her eyes would just light up when she talked. Super smart. You didn't see her as just an athlete. She was funny, a comedian. She was a dancer too. She was doing really, really well, and honestly, she was just so excited about graduating. But Lauren's life would completely change after the night of September 1st, 2018. Lauren had just turned 21, so to celebrate the start of her senior year of college, she decided to have a fun night out with her best friend, Alex. It's late on a Saturday. The streets and bars of downtown Salt Lake City are filled with students. Lauren and Alex walk up to the entrance of the London Bell, a popular bar known for live music and dancing, only about 15 minutes from their dorm. Before they can go in, they're stopped by the bouncer, a friendly, charismatic guy, well over 6 feet tall. The man smiles at the two young women and tells them his name is Sean Fields before letting them inside. Alex recalled him being, well, huge, very big muscles. She said that all through the night, he'd pass by their table and stop to talk with them a few times. After a fun night, the girls decide it's time to head home. They both had to study the next day and needed to get some sleep. It's midnight now, and as Lauren is walking out of the bar, someone touches her shoulder. It's Sean, the handsome bouncer she'd been noticing all night. After talking for a little bit more, he asks her out on a date before they say goodbye. Now it's September 2nd. Lauren gets ready for her first date with Sean. She had never really had a serious boyfriend before, and Sean, he seemed to be everything she was looking for. He was kind, attentive, friendly, and they bonded over college life, since he said he was also a student studying computer science. Even with him being 28 years old, Lauren felt safe and happy with him. The young college student walked home from that date with a huge smile on her face. To her, Sean was the best thing she could have asked for. He seemed kind and hardworking. Um, he even had his own part-time job. The way he was paying attention to her felt, kind of old-fashioned. He was taking her out to dinner, buying her flowers, and he even asked her to officially be his girlfriend. She just seemed so, so happy with the relationship. It really did start off like a fairy tale. Pretty soon, though, Lauren's close friends started noticing some odd things in the new relationship. It made them wonder if it was really as happy as it looked on the surface. They started to get worried when they saw the independent Lauren they all knew and loved, suddenly questioning everything she did. The affection Sean was showing her started to feel more like control, like obsession. He would text and call Lauren constantly, and she always felt like she had to answer right away, almost like she was afraid of what would happen if she didn't. Her friends would ask her, why do you have to pick up every single time that guy calls? And Lauren would try to explain it. She'd say he just really wanted her to answer immediately because he wanted to make sure he knew where she was, what she was doing, and that she was okay. Even though they'd only been together for a few weeks, Sean was spending all of his time with Lauren, basically living with her in her college dorm. He made friends with her roommates and other students, which, it let him get around her building without needing a key card. Lauren started pulling away from people. She was always tired. Her friends saw she just wasn't acting like herself anymore. They noticed how tired she was, how stressed she seemed. You could just tell physically by looking at her face that she was going through a lot emotionally in that relationship. They thought, okay, this guy is literally not good for her. On October 1st, 1 month after Lauren met Sean, things took a really bad turn. Sean tells Lauren he has a gift for her, something he says to keep her safe. And the gift? A loaded military-grade handgun. Oh, man. After hearing that Lauren's boyfriend wanted to give her a gun, her friends immediately told Diamond, their resident assistant who worked for university housing. They told her about the new relationship and all their concerns. Diamond remembered them saying Lauren wasn't hanging out with them as much and that he was talking about getting her a gun. And that's when it crossed the line from, harmless gossip into something much more serious. Diamond said she called her supervisor and asked what steps she should take. She even asked if she should call the police. But, surprisingly, Diamond was not told to call the police. Instead, she was just told to email university security and explain the escalating situation. So, one day after that terrifying gift, on October 2nd, campus security gets the first official warning about Sean Fields. The email detailed all the concerns about Lauren being in a potentially dangerous relationship. It also mentioned rumors that her non-resident boyfriend was on campus all the time, that he might be trying to get her a gun, and that he was even following her around. But as the days passed, Diamond's email inbox stayed empty. It was like the email was just being ignored. Then, on October 9th, just a few days later, Lauren herself finds something scary. She finds Sean's ID, but only the picture matches. The name and the birthday are totally wrong. The name printed under the photo is Melvin Rowland, and his age is listed as 37. Lauren immediately starts digging, searching his real name online. She had to know the truth about her boyfriend. She and a friend found a mugshot that looked just like him for a sex offense. Her friend remembered asking her, "Are you 100% sure this could be him?" Because based on what she was reading online, the offense was really serious. Lauren discovers there is no Sean Fields, but there is a Melvin Rowland, and he has a chilling criminal record, second and third degree felonies. Things like attempting to sexually exploit a child over the internet, enticing a minor online, and violating his parole multiple times, which sent him back to prison more than once. With just a quick search, Lauren finds out that her boyfriend is a convicted sex offender, and he's currently on parole. It's getting late on October 9th. Lauren is waiting for Melvin. He's on his way to her room. Now that she knows about his criminal record, she is planning to end the relationship immediately. He comes into her dorm room late that night, and Lauren finds all the courage she has to confront him, telling him everything she found out. Melvin's entire demeanor just shifts. He becomes hostile and defensive. He denies everything, claims he's innocent of his past convictions, but Lauren knows he's lying and holds her ground, telling him over and over that they are done. After hours of Lauren begging him to leave, Melvin finally left her room. The next day, October 10th, Lauren thought that by breaking up with her boyfriend, he was gone for good, but that wasn't the case at all. Her phone starts blowing up with texts from all these strange numbers, with people claiming to be Melvin's friends. Each message is more threatening than the last. Lauren, not knowing what else to do, tells them to stop texting her and blocks the numbers. But new numbers just keep harassing her, so she answers again and threatens to call the cops if they don't stop. The texts, however, only get worse, and even though she doesn't recognize the numbers, she sees a lot of spelling and grammar mistakes that sound exactly like Melvin's old messages. One text that really disturbed her claimed that Melvin had just died in a terrible car accident and that Lauren had to come to his funeral. This is 3 days after the breakup. On October 12th, at 4:23 p.m., Lauren calls the campus police, believing she's in real danger. She tells the dispatcher she's been getting all these texts from different people saying he was in the hospital, that he passed away. She said she got a text asking if she wanted to go to his funeral, and she tells them straight up that she thinks they're trying to lure her somewhere. The dispatcher says, "All right, I will send a certain officer to give you a call. Is that okay?" Lauren just says, "Yeah, sounds good." But no one ever calls Lauren back. Days go by, the police haven't provided any updates, and the texts just keep getting more and more aggressive. At that point, a friend told her that since she'd already contacted campus police once, she needed to go there in person. So on Saturday, October 13th, they went to the police department and walked inside. Her friend said it felt like the police weren't taking it seriously at all. I mean, she was telling them he's a sex offender, that he'd been to jail, and her friend actually had to Google it right there and hand her own phone over to the officer just to prove it. She remembered the police saying things like, "It's probably just a scam." Lauren even showed them how one of the numbers harassing her was the exact same number Melvin Rowland had used when they were still together. But they just told her that the detective wasn't in the office and that she would hear something by Tuesday. The case was assigned to a detective, Kayla Dalliff. She was on call, technically, but she wasn't in the office at the time because she was on vacation. So Lauren tells the campus police all of this deeply disturbing information about Melvin, including his entire criminal history. But no one follows up on her claims. And what's just incredible is that they didn't even check to see if he was on parole. A simple check that would have given Lauren's case the urgency it so desperately needed. Feeling like she wasn't getting help fast enough from the school police, the college student calls the Salt Lake City Police Department, a much larger agency. The dispatcher tells her that the university police would probably be the ones to take the case. Lauren explained that she'd already talked to them, but she just wanted to call the city police as well. The dispatcher replied that they usually just have the agency where you live handle the case. Lauren sounded desperate. She told them she was just concerned because she wasn't sure how long the campus police were going to take. The dispatcher just says, "Okay, let me get you over to them so they can see what's going on. Just one moment." Lauren asks if she knows when an arrest might be made. The dispatcher just offers to let her talk to an officer. Lauren says, "Yeah, that sounds good." But the Salt Lake City police just routed her call right back to the campus police. It had now been over a week since the first warning, and the campus police still hadn't done anything with Lauren's case, but she refused to give up. Over the next few days, she kept advocating for her own safety, calling the police more than 20 times since she first reported Melvin Rowland's terrifying past. October 19th. The movie Deadpool 2 with Ryan Reynolds had come out earlier that year, and Melvin had recently bought a Deadpool costume, supposedly for Halloween in a few weeks. But in this video, taken just 10 days after Lauren broke up with him, you can see Melvin secretly stalking and following Lauren around campus. Lauren has no idea her ex-boyfriend is right around the corner. It's 4:02 p.m. You can see he's holding this small black bag. Police would later find a dangerous weapon inside that bag, a fully loaded .40 caliber Beretta. 3 days later, on October 22nd, campus security cameras catch Melvin again. He was once more searching for Lauren, and he had that same black bag with him. It's 8 p.m. that same day. Lauren finishes her last class and starts walking back to her dorm by herself, just like any other night. While she's walking, she calls her mom. Back in Washington State, the family talked almost every day just to check in and see how things were going. Matthew and Jill are hundreds of miles away talking to Lauren on speakerphone when both parents suddenly hear these strange noises and then the sound of someone yelling. Her dad said it sounded like she must have been tackled or something because he heard the phone hit the ground. They were just yelling into the phone, Lauren, Lauren. He kept calling her name, but she didn't answer. He said, I knew that her life was in danger at that time. He grabbed their landline and dialed 911. He told the operator, hi, my daughter, Lauren McCluskey, was talking to her mom. It sounded like someone might have been grabbing her or something. Her parents were just scrambling, trying to figure out where she could possibly be. An alert goes out to all units to try and locate a suspect in a possible kidnapping. The victim is Lauren McCluskey. After weeks of Lauren calling them, the police finally take the case seriously. They search the area as fast as they can, but they can't find the missing young woman. Lauren's parents keep calling the police, desperate for any news. Now, everyone is looking for Lauren. That's when they get what might be the first clue. A student calls the police to report finding something while walking on campus. The police arrive and find her things scattered all over the ground. But Lauren is still nowhere to be found. They set up a perimeter. Dozens of police cars and K-9 units swarm the area. Worried students all over campus start asking, what's going on? Finally, campus staff sends out a shelter-in-place alert, and they release a picture of the main suspect, Melvin Rowland. A search begins. The police put Melvin's picture on television, just hoping that anyone will recognize him. Time is running out, and Lauren is still missing. Her father's desperate voice can be heard in clips pleading, I'm talking about my daughter, Lauren, who's missing. Police officials make public statements saying they have officers on the scene, that they're actively looking and doing everything they can to track her down. Finally, investigators reviewing the security footage see a man who looks like Melvin leaving the college grounds. Rowland is seen walking away from the campus parking lot at 8:21 p.m. He walks to a nearby light rail stop before getting picked up by a driver. For hours, police still have no idea where he is. Then, later that night, they get a call from a woman who saw the wanted man's picture on the news. She tells police she saw the picture of the guy, and then she saw a mention that he might have been picked up in a silver Sonata, which was a description of her car. She said the picture looked right, but the name and age were all wrong. The woman tells authorities that Melvin had gone out with her that night, but under a different name. The two had met on a dating app, and she'd agreed to pick him up at the train station so they could go to dinner and then hang out at her place. She said he went to her house, took a shower, and then left sometime after midnight. About an hour later, at 1 a.m., a police officer spots Melvin walking near 200 East and 500 South in downtown Salt Lake City. Melvin sees the cops and just runs. As police close in, he manages to get away, breaking into a nearby church and locking himself inside. The whole neighborhood is locked down. No one knows what's going to happen next. Then, suddenly, loud gunshots are heard from inside the church. Police have to move, and they have to move now. With their guns drawn, they break through the large wooden doors. Inside, they find the body of Melvin Rowland. He was dead. At the same time police were hunting for Melvin, another search was happening for Lauren. They went through her belongings, her dorm room, but there was no sign of her. Later that night, investigators finally locate Rowland's car. It's a small silver four-door sedan. As an officer gets closer to the car and looks inside, they find a body. Oh, God. The officer immediately calls for medical assistance. On the night of October 22nd, Lauren's parents get a call from the university's track and field coach. He has the kind of news that no parent should ever have to hear. Her father remembers asking, is she okay? And the coach just said, I'm sorry, she's not, she's gone. Her dad said he just started crying. that it was like a physical trauma, like being hit by a baseball bat. A friend remembers getting a text from Mrs. McCluskey that just said they lost her, that Lauren had been shot. She said she remembers just going outside, looking up at the stars, and just hoping, hoping Lauren didn't suffer and that she wasn't in pain. Lauren's friends and family are in disbelief. The entire campus is in shock. A few days after her death, the school holds a vigil to remember Lauren. Her friends described her as an amazing, genuine, and caring person and said she would be so deeply missed. Matt and Jill McCluskey just can't believe that their daughter's repeated pleas for help were ignored by campus police. As the university started getting a lot of bad press, the president held a really controversial press conference. In it, she said that an internal report didn't offer any reason to believe that Lauren's tragedy could have been prevented. Her friends were shocked she would say that. One said she just felt sick to her stomach, that these parents lost their kid, and the university had the audacity to try and cover for themselves. They pointed out the sheer number of times Lauren tried to get help from the police, when really, it should have just taken one single phone call. Furious with the university's response, the parents were determined to make sure something like this never happened again. They filed a lawsuit against the university, believing it failed to protect their daughter, and they wanted to create real change in her name. Her mother said, "I do not want to be in this world without Lauren, but being stuck here, I have no choice but to try to make this world better." With the goal of changing how campuses operate and making them safer for students everywhere, Matthew and Jill McCluskey started the Lauren McCluskey Foundation. They announced that all the money from their settlement would go to the foundation to make the world better and students across the country safer. This tragedy sparked an incredible movement that's reached communities all over the nation, with protests demanding justice for Lauren. Since her death, huge changes have been made in almost every aspect of campus safety there, from the police department to housing to new task forces and faculty training. They even pledged to build an indoor track and field facility with Lauren's name on it. And every day, Lauren is honored and remembered. The message is clear. Women must be believed and taken seriously when they ask for help. When someone tells you what's going on, you have to respond with urgency. Her family created what is now known as Lauren's Promise, a promise that says, "I will listen and believe you if someone is threatening you." That promise is taking root in communities all over the country to raise awareness, to let people know this is not your fault and it's okay. Let's talk about it and let's do something about it. A professor shared that she's had students come to her and say, "Because of Lauren's Promise, I'm alive."